Good evening and welcome to another Next Gen Turbo Tuesday podcast. This is the weekly podcast where we bring to you results and what's happened in the various leagues across Next Gen over the past week. And it's not just myself talking. I have two people, I say alongside me in different houses, who will be putting their thoughts in. There is Jack, otherwise known as Jack TM53 at Synopsis.
Hello everyone, good to be back again.
And we also have Mike, otherwise known as Mikey RK13.
Good evening, how are we?
How are we, gents? Are we all good?
Oh, brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
No, actually.
Obviously lots to talk about, as I think we've managed to get pretty much a full week of league racing nearly this week. So where do you want to start? Should we start back on Wednesday?
Yeah, last Wednesday I think would be a good place to go, wouldn't it, George, really?
Yeah, and on that day we have this league, the GT3 League on Assetto Corsa Competizione on PS4. Jack, I think you've got some information on that, don't you?
Yeah, I do indeed. Looking at everything from the information that we got, obviously hosted by Kevin Smith, who, spoiler alert, next week will be joining us. He's very excited to be taking part in this podcast that we do once a week. So yeah, it seemed to go quite well in terms of the performance. Just having a quick scan through what was sent through at the moment from the drivers. Just trying to have a quick scan through to see what was said actually. So, looking at it from a few different people, James Stewart was hosting the second lobby. He just sent me a quick idea from his perspective. He said that it was things went quite well. A couple of people managed to have a good battle with Chris, and they were able to pick up a 10-second plus gap. Even pitting out with a lead, got the reduce gap down a little bit, had to do a quick splash and dash and came in fourth, but it was, according to the Lobby 2 results from what I can see, it was Silver Carter who took the race win. Nick Osloose was second, and Hemo 444 Ever US was third. Three different brands covered the top three places. Silver Carter was in the Mercedes AMG, Nick was in the Bentley, and Hemo was in the Porsche. So Lobby 2 looking like a very competitive, compact and challenging league, to say little of it. Looking at the other lobby as well, just looking quick scan through, Elliot was sorting out hot Lobby 1 obviously, and he said from his point of view the race went really well. He said he had a bit of issues in qualifying but had good pace in the race, and he said he probably could have finished third had it not been for a couple of mistakes. Lots of battles in terms of the quality. There was a lot of quality defending driving. He particularly sounded out Next Gen Robbo, looking like a good season on that one, he says. And yeah, it seems to be that everything went quite well on Wednesday. Looks like there's a lot of good racing across the board.
I think it's going to be a competitive league this season. Obviously, some drivers already had half a season in the league. I mean, I know I'll be joining in every fortnight. I plan to be, because I bought it with the Black Friday sales that have just occurred. So I think it's going to be.
How much was that, Jordan? Actually, just out of curiosity.
It's about £17 at the moment for the base game.
That's not bad.
But obviously, ideally, you need the DLC to go with it. So it does creep up a little bit. It's like £20 for the season pass. And I think an extra £12 because you have to buy the Intercontinental DLC, because it was you only got it with the game if you bought it within like the first 14 days of release, as a bonus. But to be fair, for what was that, about £50, just on about £50, you get everything, and with the season pass you get the GT4 class and also the upcoming British GT pack. So there's going to be some British tracks coming to the game, as well as Silverstone and Brands, which is already on there.
That's not bad at all, is it?
No, I mean, it'd be fun to drive Alton Park on there actually, because I know that's coming to the game.
It'll be coming soon as well, won't it, I believe?
Winter this year, so winter can mean anything over here, to be honest. It could be January,
Could be right
February,
to February, yeah.
possibly even April, as recent years have shown.
I know, it's just such a strange climate we're living in at the moment. So a lot going on then for the Wednesday. Seemed quite interesting for Assetto Corsa Competizione.
Yeah, and I think they've done really well this season to have two lobbies. They're not. I don't think they're two massive full lobbies, but obviously
10 or 12 in the hosts chat
but
earlier, which is quite competitive actually. To be fair, it's about 20-22 drivers. Not bad.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, because obviously they have to pay for those servers as well. The next gen, obviously people put funds in to help support that server, and I know there's quite a big jump the more drivers you get in. I think between 20 to 22 there's like a massive jump in price, so I think we could end up seeing that they have slightly smaller, like they pay for less spots on the servers, but so that it's a bit cheaper for everyone who enters, because I know a lot of the drivers have chipped in for the lobbies.
Just out of curiosity, for everyone
I think I think Kevin would probably be the best to answer that when he comes on next week.
Okay.
He's the one that's kind of he's done like all the research and that when it was all getting set up. So
if you're interested in Assetto Corsa and joining us next week, find out then with Kevin.
Moving swiftly on, because I don't think Mikey, I say understands Assetto Corsa. He doesn't really know much about it.
Vaguely, I've played it in the past.
Because you have the original, don't you?
Is that the one you can do the drifting on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it then.
Well, there's nothing stopping you from doing drifting on ACC. It's just not a mode.
Yeah, it's
yeah, I know, but to me, it was good. Obviously, when I had my wheel working, but now, obviously, because that's in the loft, and I can't use it for certain reasons. Yeah, it's a bit of a.
It's not pad friendly, is it?
No. I mean, I used to when I first got the first Assetto Corsa, I used to race on pad, and it was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it was really difficult to drive. It was, once you got the sweet spot, it was quite nice, but it was even more difficult to find than Project Cars.
Probably for me, obviously you had to use the sticks. You couldn't use the D-pad, and for me, I don't like that. I absolutely hate using the sticks. It's a nightmare. So
well, once you mentioned that, George, sorry, with the original Assetto Corsa, I wasn't sold on it, because I was expecting sort of this GT3 or sort of the same style of Project Cars, because I'd always used the wheel on Project Cars. Obviously got Assetto Corsa, and obviously it's a different game, but it just didn't feel right. I feel like dead. I thought it was just dead soft, dead light. You know, when I had that on a max setting, I don't know if it was my wheel at the time, but I'd go on to obviously Project Cars, and because I like when I use my wheel, I like a fair bit of weight in it.
It takes a lot to set up. It takes a lot to set up, and to get used to it is quite a big transition. I mean, like I said, I bought ACC, for example. It is more. ACC is better for the pad. It is a lot nicer compared to AC. It's still not the best. If you had the choice of a wheel or a pad, you'd always go on the wheel on it. But like this week, trying to transition into ACC, trying to learn how you got to drive, you got to completely wipe your mind of everything.
Yeah, you've got to go with a fresh slate. That's the thing with it. It's a bit of it's a different ball game, to be honest. So.
Put it this way, I mean, I'd done some laps around Suzuka to see where I would fit in lobby-wise with the GT3 lads. And bear in mind, I'd been on the game less than half a day. And I was in the Bentley, and I think it was like a 2:05. And I was there going, yeah, that felt quite quick. That felt alright. And I was like, what lobby would that put me in? They were like, lobby 2. I'm like, right, okay. I was about 3 seconds off of getting into lobby 1.
I suppose that's not too bad, that though, if you think about it. Because let's be honest, lobby 1's gonna have like the like really fast drivers. Obviously, no offense to the lads in lobby 2, but obviously that's why that lobby to that lobby. But for half a day, mate, that's not a bad effort. To be honest, it's quite respectable. That, to be honest, I wouldn't let it put you down, mate.
Right. Okay, so ACC, obviously that's what's happened. Jack, do we know where they are next week in terms of track?
No, actually, I wasn't sent that through, which is a bit annoying.
Let's see if I can find it.
Through no one's fault of their own.
Was it Monza?
No, that's where we're at next week.
No, I remember someone else
It is
had
Monza next week, yeah.
Oh my god, millions.
Mikey with a little victory there.
Thank you. Drop the mic.
Moving on, Thursdays we have the Paramax McGann Trophy. Obviously, Jack, you commentated on Lobby 2, so we'll come to you in a minute for that one. But GT Sport was playing its old tricks, its new old tricks again on the Thursday, especially for the Lobby 1 boys. It was a bit of a nightmare. So we did get a race in, which was quite good, and Hiracram, just check my notes here. Where are they? That one there. Hiracram did win, but weirdly enough, he didn't take fastest lap. KBE 36, new to the league, actually took fastest lap for the race, which I thought was quite impressive. But he also...
I know his name. He's quite a quick driver. I've seen him in other leagues.
Put it this way, he had issues in qualifying, so we had to restart the qualifying. And so he ended up starting at the back, and he finished. And bear in mind, we had about I think 14 in the lobby that night. He started at the back and finished third, so it was a hell of a drive. Absolutely nuts. But Hiracram won, Hill Climb Race second, KB third, Ruddo fourth. It's going to be a tight season for Lobby 1 because Hiracram, he doesn't have the same margins he does as last season. I mean, I think he won Nürburgring by like 20 seconds last season. I think he won it by about 2 this season. So
it's definitely tightened up, hasn't it?
It's definitely tightened up. I mean, Jack, Lobby 2, obviously, I think Lobby 2 didn't have as many problems as Lobby 1.
No, Lobby 2 for the McGanns was fine. Everything ran on time. It was already really good at the Nürburgring. I have to say, what a race. It was superb to watch. The drivers were really gunning for it. And all the way through the race you thought, okay, during practice you weren't quite sure, and then one of the new boys who's just come into the league managed to take that pole position. I will come on to him in a moment, but I do want to have a quick mention to Danzo, who, funnily enough, Mikey will know that name because he raced against Danzo in the past. It's a name that's been around for a long time, and he scored his first ever podium on Monday. On Thursday in the McGanns. It was a fantastic drive. He drove absolutely brilliant. He was so good, and last season, just a bit of a background, he came so close on so many occasions to getting a podium. He was fourth like 4 or 5 times, and it was looking at one point like he was going to lose out, and then the second to last corner going into the chicane, he went round the outside of Bertus to take 3rd place, and that was really good performance from him. I have to say, Martin JL09, he was the debutant, one of the debutants for Lobby 2 on Thursday. He walked the race at a canter. It was so easy for him. I think it was helped by an incident for D10 Piper, who was in another debutant. He drove really well. He had a really good fight back to finish 4th at the final corner himself. So fair play to Martin, absolutely flew. And obviously I haven't mentioned the other person who came second, Snav, who, a certain family member in the room, Jordan, he put in a really good race actually, and I think for him, Snav is going to be I'm sure he was quite happy with that. He definitely put in a really good performance. I think he should be pleased with that, considering how he went last season. A couple of other debutants, Duds, he was fantastic defensive driving, really good battling. Mike Edwards was another one. He put in a really good shift. I thought he was quite impressive, but something happened at the end. I'm not sure why he finished last when he was running 7th, and he was quite far behind, so I don't know if he had a problem. And then there was CRT, Pip Didger, another one of the CRT drivers who jumped in. Again, really good drive. Quite aggressive, quite interesting to see some of the moves he was making, but I think that's something, a bit of wild card type of play you need. So it was great. It was, honestly, what a start to Lobby 2. I loved that lobby. It's the best lobby. I know people will disagree with me, especially Chris, who commentates on Lobby 1, but it's just carnage and brilliant fighting every single week in that lobby. It's brilliant to commentate on.
No, absolutely, and there's always battles throughout the whole field. I mean, on Thursday, myself, Rally Matt 85, who obviously Jack you'll know, and P Gibb, along with Bruce Lee Harding, another family member, obviously. We had a mega battle for what was for 10th, and it was a bit of a shame because me and P Gibb picked up some penalties which we had to ditch right at the end, which we ditched at the end, which allowed Rally Matt to get up 2 places, but luckily I had less than P Gibb, so I got ahead of him. But it was a cracking race. I mean, I finished like 12th in that race, and I absolutely loved every minute of it.
The guns are great.
Well, the thing is, that's the feeling you want in a league, isn't it? Like, obviously, you know me, Jack. I'm not normally very happy unless I'm near the top 5. But that was just incredible. I think that put a proper smile on my face, which is how every league should be. It doesn't matter where it shouldn't matter where you finish, as long as you've had a great race. That's the feeling you're looking for.
Absolutely.
It's the taking part that takes count. That is the priority.
Yeah.
Think of it that way.
Yeah.
I think
that's. Join us in Lobby 2 if there's a space, right?
When's that, mate? Sorry.
Thursdays.
Well, Lobby 2.
It's mainly depending on what time I get home from work. I'm lucky to get an office to get home this early on a Tuesday. My head's gone. But yeah, it's more dependent on when it's just work, mate.
Work for everyone.
But following on from the McGanns, and it's the Scirocco League now. We had a bit of an unfortunate thing, which with the Scirocco League for Lobby 1, didn't we, Jack? We unfortunately
it just completely tanked. It didn't work out. Which is a shame. GT Sport obviously had issues last week, obviously with the launch of the PS5. And I think that had a part to play in it, along with the update. Everyone trying to sort of get themselves into lobbies, it wasn't working, and everyone disconnected out of it. So that will be rerunning again at the Nürburgring on Thursday. I'm right in saying, Jordan?
Yeah. So I've kind of ended up making the decision a bit later than I wanted to. I was speaking to you about it, Jack, and I was a bit like, oh, do I do this? Do I do that? What's the best way to deal with it? So the drivers haven't actually yet been told because I've made the decision pretty much today, but yeah, Lobby 1's going to be a week behind everything at the moment because there's going to be a 4 rerun because we have to run those first 2 races because of the top 4 reverse grid on round 3. It makes no sense to run a round and then have to do a reverse grid, so that's what's happening with Lobby 1, which is going to be interesting because obviously the guys will have to practice. The Lobby 1 guys from the Megans, or for anyone who's racing the Megans and the Lobby 1 Scirocco's, they're going to have to almost practice two tracks, which is not ideal, but it is what it is, unfortunately. But Lobby 2 was quite good. I've seen a video of the Battle of the Fronts, and if I just get my points up.
Lobby 2 sounded like it was an absolute riot, considering that they had two, maybe 3 drivers missing, I believe. But it seemed like it went really well. It seemed like there was a lot of good fighting in the front pack, like you said, Jordan. I saw the same video. It looked like it was a good scrap to behold.
Yeah, Rally Matt actually took his first win on GT Sport on Thursday. He managed to gap Snav, but only because 1805 had managed to catch them up, and 1805 started hassling Snav, so that allowed Randy Matt to get away. But the first, I don't know, 10 minutes, Randy Matt and Snav were just swapping positions for the lead. Whilst 1805, Big Z, Suburtus, Danzo were all having their own little scrap. Also, we did have the 2 disconnects, which was a shame with Mark Parker at Roving Island, but they both got 7th place points because of something that wasn't actually in their control.
No.
Unfortunately, and I know it was. I think it was quite harsh as well for Mark, because he was actually running in about 5th when he disconnected. It was a really horrible thing to happen.
I have to say, Mark Parker had a really good night, didn't he? This week, as he finished 5th or 6th rather, in the McGanns as well. So best ever result for Mark. I think he deserves a mention, quite frankly, because up until that point he'd finished 7th in the
6th,
past in a lobby.
6th in the McGanns.
Yeah. Thanks, George. I was midway through my point.
Oh well.
His best result was 7th before that in a field of 9 in the McGann. So to get 6th in a field of 14, he drove really well. Yeah, Mikey's spot on. He drove really well. So is that a sign of things to come? More top 10s?
I think so. I think he's improving all the time, Mark Parker, and you can tell that because he's trying to learn from everyone around him, and it's the best way to go about it. He's learning everything, and racing against people faster than you only makes you quicker. Okay, it feels a bit disappointing when you're, for example, against Hirakram, like 2 seconds off the pace at times, but he's an alien for starters. But as shown in the McGanns, the gap does close.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a shadow stalker in a way, just chipping away, picking up those good points.
I obviously have got to agree with you. Like, see, I won't lie, I'm not the best, but obviously when I started, I was really bad. Obviously, I stuck it out. And obviously, Jack can agree with me on this. There was times even I thought, this is for me. You know, but it's like, I'll stick through it. You know what I mean? Get to the end. And like, obviously, at the start, I didn't do the best, got off quite a bit, but each week like you said, chip away at it, and you get better. You learn from your mistakes in a way, like what you feel more comfortable with in certain ways. Like certain tracks, I'm stronger than obviously other tracks. If you put me on the original project cars, like I could probably be alright at Hockenheim. Obviously, Hockenheim, Oak Park, Donny, little ones like that, but then the certain ones you put me on, I'm like, nah. I know I won't get a top 6 finish.
I think that's natural. That's natural for anyone. Everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like when everyone, you're gonna get to that point where you're gonna go up or you're gonna go down. It's part of the whole learning cycle, I suppose. So.
But it's certainly going to be interesting next week, though, Jack, because the McGanns both going to Alsace. Great, I love that track. It should be very, very good racing. Obviously, the Lobby 1 Scirocco's going to Nürburgring. The Lobby 2 Scirocco's going to Alsace. So that's going to feel really weird, especially for you, Jack. You're going to be going from Alsace to Nürburgring next week, or this week, shall I say?
No problems. Jump a ploughing or something.
So, as we say, obviously, the McGanns commentating on both lobbies. Lobby 1 by CJW Racing, Chris Wall. Lobby 2 by Jack, who's here. And Jack, obviously, you're doing the Lobby 1 Scirocco's live, and I believe you're doing Lobby 2 on replay. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm doing Lobby 2 on replay. I'm a little bit behind. I haven't been able to have the chance to record Lobby 2 just yet, but I will come round to that. I probably will do 2 on Sunday, just to whip it all up in one go, and that will go straight onto YouTube, so everyone will get a chance to see that.
There you go. Moving on, as I know, Mikey, you're normally pressed for time. GT3 and GT4 Mix Series on PC, Assetto Corsa Competizione.
It went well. GT3, GT4, Kevin sent me a message through, he said, fantastic start to the season at Misano. during night time. Had a lot of great battles throughout. Gaza Williams, who's been with Next Gen for a long time, and obviously George will know Gaza. He took
I've
the
met up with
overall win at round 1, currently leading the championship as they go into Zandvoort this week for the first 1 hour endurance event of the season. So still room for people if they want to take part, but sounds like it went really well.
Yeah, it's obviously I know Gaz. I've actually met him at Donington along with Paul Scott, who I believe was second, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you very much mistaken?
Am I? I don't know. If
£5.
if I'm not mistaken, which I usually am, yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I mean, I know Kevin this season is obviously running PS4 and PC, which is quite impressive in itself to be able to jump between the two, let alone on different games, as we'll get to later on. But
I just, sorry to jump in, I've heard from a few people that there isn't too much difference in terms of how the cars are between PC and PS4 for set across the competition. What I've heard is it's mainly frame rates and graphical improvements, but I've heard physically based there is very little in it, not much. So that's really good for consoles. It's a good positive for the next gen of consoles, really.
It is, yeah, but I think that they're still going to have that one issue of, on the PC, you're going to get that extra finite control over it because you can plug it into your PC and just very minorly adjust everything to suit properly. But other than that, I think it's a fairly even playing field compared to what it used to be, without a doubt, which is good going forward. And especially for people that are going to go onto the PS5, because obviously the PS5 can run the existing wheels that are out for the PS4, which is great news for those that are going onto it. And the interesting thing as well, web user Johnny, or Bean Flicker now, he actually on one of the leagues this week, he actually raced the guys on his PS5. Yeah. It was almost cross generation racing, which is great to see, because it means that anyone that it doesn't matter now whether you have a PS5 or a PS4. You don't have to have the most up-to-date console to be able to play in to actually do the leagues in the racing, which is great news for just league racing in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I think that's the really key thing, and I mean there's obviously no clear advantage as well, other than graphically in terms of the PS5. Obviously, performance is helping compared to that, but in terms of the physics, there's not going to be much difference. It's optimised obviously for PS4, so it's a nice transitional period for the next 2 years between people going from PS4 to PS5, or for people going from Xbox One X to Xbox Series X. It's nice for the people to have that backwards compatibility to race across all different platforms. Still waiting for cross-play, which I think it's going to take another couple of years before any movement on that's made, but it's on its way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, from ACC on Thursdays, we move on to Fridays. And we'll start off back on GT Sport. The Virtual Focus Cup had its first round at Brands Hatch Indy, and it was probably the first day on GT Sport that didn't have any issues that were experienced that week. Everything ran smoothly. The grid, there is a full grid signed up, but I know that a few people couldn't make it, and that's where we had a little bit less. But Hirakram, we all know he's quick, and he showed it again in the focuses. But he got very lucky at the same time, because Burnt Fry came in as almost like a last minute filler, and he ended up actually battling with Bert Huben for second place, and it allowed It allowed Herocram to get away.
Who raced in the last Focus Cup, did Bert Hagen?
Yep. Quick driver, but very quick driver. I mean, pole position was, I think, Snav qualified something like 6th, and he was about half a second off the pace. He was so close. I mean, possibly even less than that. It was a really, really tight pace. Massive battle as well for 4th. Between D Whitehouse, P1 Don, Logan Greenway and Snav. I kid you not, I do urge people, because I know there's some of the leagues are going on to the NXTGEN official page over the next couple of days. I do urge you to go and watch them, because they are fantastic to watch. The battling was absolutely immense. But like I say, Herocram took the full amount of points to 23. So Bert on the bit of a back foot coming into round 2 at Fuji, but I think Fuji's going to end up being quite a good race.
Going to be interesting, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. And I think this season's going to be quite tight between the top, as per usual.
Is there a top score in the virtual Focus Cup, Jordan?
Not that I'm aware of. I'll have to double check for next week, but I don't believe so. I believe every score counts.
There'll have been a nice appearance in a K&N filter Ford for myself there next week, but not to worry.
Yeah, because you're not actually racing in any well, apart from the F1, you're not actually racing in any other league, are you?
No, not at the moment. I'll be commentating. What else happens on a Friday, Jord?
What else happens on a Friday indeed? We have the GT4 World Series on Assetto Corsa Competizione. I mean, this is great. I mean, we're talking about ACC a lot, which is fantastic to see. I mean, back when the original Assetto Corsa was on, we only had one league, maybe 2 at the most. We were lucky enough to actually have 3 leagues in its final season since Kevin came along. But yeah, it's good to see the amount of leagues we're talking about for ACC.
Yeah, there seems to be quite a lot there, doesn't there? I actually haven't got any info on the World Series, as far as I'm aware, from what I can see, unfortunately.
I'll see if this has been updated. That one there. So, obviously they went to Zolder. I've got the points. NXTGEN Zlatan, or Zlatab, I think it's meant to be Zlatan, actually won the race, which was good effort. Silver Carter 2nd, Bean Flicker in John Wells 3rd, NXTGEN Ultra 4th, Slayer 72 5th, Robbo 6th, Lager was in 7th, Jamo in 8th, Gnarly Pop 9th, I'll see you all know Gnarly Pop, and Big Matters in 10th. So again, a nice strong grid for a Friday. 10 cars racing. So and from what I've heard, the racing's quite close as well. See, the cars tend to be quite closely matched in terms of their performance. So I think there's a good range of vehicles racing.
Yeah, definitely seems to be good mix of manufacturers going on in Assetto Corsa. I think that's one of the key points of ACC being so appealing, is that, you know, it's those GT3, GT4 cars, obviously the international GTs coming along and everything. That'll be fascinating to see how that expansion goes. But I think, is there anything else on a Friday off the top of my head?
Yep, there is one more. We have the Porsche PMR Cup.
Indeed we do.
On iRacing. It's obviously iRacing took a year off. It's back this season. They went to Brands GP. I don't know if any of you guys got any information on that, or whether we're going to go off the tables.
I believe we'll go off the tables.
I think we'll take that executive decision. All of the favors say aye. Democracy has spoken. We'll go from the tables. So.
Well, it looks like it was quite an interesting couple of races. Let's have a look. Josh Malin took the race 1 victory from Will Orton.
Surprised me.
Will Orton took 2nd, and Matt Allen was 3rd. Bobby Thompson came 4th in race 1.
Is that the Bobby Thompson?
think it might be, yes. I've got a feeling it is the Bobby Thompson.
It is the Bobby Thompson, isn't it?
Who is this? The Bobby Thompson.
It's British
touring cars, yeah.
I've been a bit behind, I'm not gonna lie. It's my bad.
Looking down the list, we've also got Freddie Hewitt racing in it. He's not too bad. Simon Clayton.
Obviously, Josh is, for those that don't know, he's a Ginetta GT5 Challenge driver.
The interesting two that I don't believe raced on round one, but I think I signed up for the rest of the season, are the Newshams. Both Newshams, Dave and Callum are signed up to the league. So I think that's going to be interesting to see, especially Callum, see how he fares against Josh Maitland at Spa-Francorchamps. Otherwise, looking on the list, otherwise they had two GT4 cars as well run in Jamie Nicholson and Mergim Aliu. Nicholson currently leading that class, but overall Malin's leading the championship from Morton, Allen, Thompson and David Ward. It's I believe it's streamed by Jacko Racing. Jack Oliphant, isn't it? Oliphant? Yeah. So he streams that live, so definitely go check him out. I think it's on Facebook and possibly YouTube.
It is, yeah. It is on Facebook.
So yeah, do check out Jacko Racing on Facebook to watch that, because that, I believe, was quite a good set of races in cars that are. I mean, the GT3 Cup, the Porsche Cup car is, from what I've heard, is quite a competitive car when it comes to racing. And obviously the GT4 Cayman, I believe, was added earlier this year.
Recently. Yeah.
Earlier this year, yeah. So good stuff. And they're also, as I say, they're at Spa-Francorchamps next week. This week, should I say this Sunday, Friday evening. This Friday, so that'll be interesting.
Obviously, Friday leagues, that's sorted. We don't race on a Saturday.
We do not.
We have a nice day off to just try and chill out, recuperate where we can, and then we do have our Sunday leagues. Now, Jordan will know the total of how many Sunday leagues we've got, so I'll let Jordan say the number before anything else.
We have two.
Two indeed. We've got one with... just before we go to Mikey, actually.
Yeah.
R Factor 2, sadly, the league that we was due to start on that Sunday was postponed. Seemed to be a few technical issues, according to Kevin when we were having a little chat about it. Just seemed that there were a couple of problems with the cars out of control, disappearing, reappearing inside one another. It was really unraceable apparently, so that was unfortunate. But we do have a bit of information from Mikey about the other Gran Turismo Sport League on PS4 that happened, don't we, Mike?
Yeah, we do, yeah. On the faster BMW League. Obviously, from what we've seen on reports, I've been funneled into our good selves here at NXTGEN HQ. Yeah, obviously, first race was, your typical quali, fastest first down the grid. Obviously, from our reports, quite a few nerves at first, at the start. Obviously, you get a bit of feelers between all the drivers. One or two people trying to prove themselves. So, obviously, the start was quite competitive. So, it'll be quite interesting how it goes on. Obviously, like I said, quite a bit of fighting. Good for an old colleague of ours, Mill.
Yeah, indeed.
Darren Moss, apparently has one magnet. So yeah, if anyone else wants to attract themselves to Darren, be our guest. But now, for that whole first race, we pretty much had a few people deciding to hang out with Darren. through the race. So apparently that might have been fun. But obviously once it settled down, there's quite a few battles between drivers. Obviously Darren Freeman, Leo Hagan, and Luke Mitchell obviously clearly sort of fastest drivers through that first race. So obviously the one issue that we had was the chicane.
The chicane of death.
Dragon's Tail. Yes.
Dragon's Trail, yeah, Seaside.
Yeah, which unfortunately took a casualty in our reporter. We can't confirm he's still alive and well. So
Unfortunately. Sorry, Mark.
Mark, just do it for the record, mate. That wasn't me. Remember that. But obviously, race 2 reverse grid. So obviously, the other way around. So it obviously gives everyone else at least some sort of chance, who depending on level of skill. It's always a good thing to see at NXTGEN. Obviously, apparently a better race, more challenging for the faster guys to at least prove the capabilities of cutting through the field. It obviously makes it a lot interesting. Darren actually started in pole and led for most of it, but was hunted down by Darren and Luke in the last lap. Both caught and passed Moss before the checkered flag. But yeah, it's good to say. Obviously, it's quite a tight knit sort of field, so it'll be quite interesting to see what the results are for the going on of the season. So it'd be nice to see what happens and what occurs.
I believe I saw a picture posted by Mark as well. Well, two of the customers, I believe it was TP86, Tom Porter and someone else, crossing the line, and quite literally it was like a grill.
It was.
One person was like a grill ahead. It was a fantastic photo to have at the end of the race when you've got people finishing like that absolutely side by side.
Tom Porter, is that
Tom Porter?
86, is it?
TP86 Racing, yeah.
86. I wonder if he's changed his name.
Is it Portman? Or it's Tom Porter.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm sure he's changed I'm sure his PSN used to be Portman 86, because Portman 86 used to race in the Group A1s. Just firing up the old synapses on the Group A1 there. It's just brought to mind that name's just ringing a bell.
Yes, he
I'm
was.
just not quoting on our chat. So it has been confirmed. It used to be Portman 86.
Yeah.
Of course it was. I thought I recognised that name.
There you go. Jack the Statter Man, remembering yet another stat.
Yeah, he drove quite well. I think his best result was 7th at Brands Hatch. Season 14, maybe.
Was that when we had all the rain?
Way back when, I think it was a dry race. Don't ask me where I pulled that info from, just something off the head.
He's pulled it out of one of his many lockers in his mind.
Yeah. Yeah, key number 574 into this locker. Yeah. Oh, here's the information required. There you go.
Apparently it was Danzo he was side by side with in that picture. So obviously fantastic racing from the pair of those. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good league, the BMW, and I believe Mark is looking for drivers. I think he wants to try and get a second lobby going, but obviously only if the interest is there. So if anyone is listening and then they want to get involved with the BMW M4 Group 4 League, sponsored by Fastar. Yes, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I think a bit of merchandise. But there's also an extra award for, I think, overtake of the season, which is being judged by Freddie Hewitt. So people are obviously putting their nominations in for that. But yeah, Sunday is 9 o'clock UK time.
I think I might give this a go, chaps.
Well, Sunday's 9 o'clock UK time. Obviously, Mark is looking for reserves, and if you can get enough, a second lobby, because I know the first lobby is full at the moment.
Well, I think I'll represent the three of us, chaps. Get us commentators on the go, see what I can do, see what damage I can deal. But it looks quite interesting, to be fair. It's always good to see these stock tuning lobbies instead of, certain lobby, like most, obviously esports related, racing lobbies and groups are like mostly all just
tuning.
your set tuning.
Yeah.
Which is one thing that I like about NXTGEN. It's a level playing field for everyone.
Yeah, it's almost like there's the car.
Regard,
you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Go and drive it.
Yeah. There's the keys. You
just don't smash it up.
Yeah, in my case, just try and come back with 4 wheels if you don't mind, mate. That'd be great. But
yeah, not in your hands.
Yeah. It's got 2 gears in the hands,
I have still got the front right. It's in my right hand.
And where's the front left? Yeah. That's in the wall.
I think that's gone to the next county. I've still got a bit of the dashboard.
Yeah, I've still got the radio. Just like pull out of nowhere. Like, still got this.
Don't panic. I've still got the brake pedal.
Don't panic. I've got the airbag in front of my face. It's alright.
We could joke all night, couldn't we?
Oh,
let's go on to Monday.
Mondays, and Jack, me and you are going to kick this one off for Mondays with the Coates versus Newsham Mini Cooper Cup from the Lago Maggiore Centre for round 1, as obviously we had to postpone it.
Yeah, so obviously the week before we had some technical issues, but we were back Monday, me and you, dual commentary. Before we talk about racing, not blowing our own trumpets or anything, Jordan, but I think Sky Sports sign us up next season. We're pretty much on it. Get Sackcrofty, Brundle can
I'm
go.
I'm sorry, I'm your agent. Why have I... I'm the agent here, boys. Where's the notification?
In all seriousness, though, I think for first dual commentary, I think that went quite well.
Yeah.
I think it went quite well.
It was quite smooth.
As opposed to that, the minis were not so smooth. It was very aggressive. It was like a million cars in one shot at any one time. It was absolutely spectacular. What a race. Both races were brilliant. So good. Fourth in that first race was just spot on all the way through.
Borderline dominant in a fashion that he didn't have a massive gap, but it was to the point that no matter what anyone else done, he just keep pulling that gap. Okay, it might have only been half a tenth, but he didn't make any mistakes and he didn't get troubled at all.
No, that first race he just set himself off into the sun, and it was down to his good friend Les versus TNR Philo for the final podium spot.
Philo actually qualified on pole position for that first race as well. He just got done by the start. He didn't really get the best start, and I think that's kind of what allowed Forfish and Les in. But battles throughout the field. Stevie Q had a good race going up places. Rally Matt as well, another one. Obviously, we have to bear in mind as well, Rally Matt, this is his first season in leagues on GT Sport, and it's his first. This is pretty much the first laps he's doing on the game as well. He's not had any previous experience, because me and Bruce Lee Harding, who races in the minis, who had he had an okay night in his woods. It wasn't ideal, but we were talking to Rally Matt, and we were saying that obviously the Project Cars League that was on the Monday was closing, and he was like, oh, what else goes on? We were like, GT Sport, and he actually bought GT Sport to do the league, to do some league racing.
Yeah.
And he really impressed me on Monday with his speed.
I think so. I think for Matt, he's got a lot of time. I think where he can build up his performance, and I think getting a couple of, I think if did he finish at least top 6 or 7 in both races? He was competitive all the way through. Yeah. So he's got a lot of potential. I was really impressed, and I said this during the stream, Jordan, with Bumper Cam Bob, and I thought he had a fantastic debut. I thought he was really positive. I thought we're going to come on to race 2 in a minute, but his race 2 to hunt down Philo is no mean feat.
Yeah.
To do it in the way that he did, I think he's got to be one to watch for the season now, just based on that performance.
Yeah, although I'd like to read into the pace from Lago out centre, but I'm a bit like let's not take it on its absolute value, because it's such a small circuit that a single tiny error can cost you a lot of time, and it almost makes you look slower than you actually are. I think when we go to Yamagiwa next Monday, I think we're going to start to see almost the true pace, because it's a bit of a slipstream fest around there, but there are some corners where you have to get them right, and that's when it starts to separate. Just separate where we're going to be at in terms of order.
Could go either way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You never know. You never know who might win this championship. It's going to be as well. I don't know if you've announced this to the drivers yet, Jordan. There will be a sort of structural rebalancing of the teams between Coates and Newsham. Not because of any sort of weighted issues or anything like that. It's because we've got a new driver coming in to the league next week, and we're just doing a quick rebalance just to make sure everything's accommodated on both sides. So shouldn't be too bad. I think we'll keep points, or we'll sort something out with the points. But again, the drivers will be notified, and everyone on social media will get an update about what's changed. So just keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you've already highlighted a bit of race two. Obviously, Philo winning that one from Bumper Cam Bob by a car length, if that. Yeah. Was it Les? Les was third there in that race as well.
Snatched it from Dave right at the final corner. Yeah. I felt really sorry for Dave.
But the one person I was impressed with, and it may sound really biased, was Snap. It sounds really biased, but I was quite impressed with how well he hung on. I mean, he led that race for 5 minutes at the start. See, I know he started on pole because of the reverse grid, but he led that race for 5 minutes, and he had an absolute belting battle with D Whitehouse and Rally Matt.
I think had he have not fought so hard with Dave at the start, I think they'd have got away a bit further up the road. Then I think they'd have been caught still towards the end, but I think they'd have had more time or less time to battle with everyone, and I think that would have proven decisive. Sadly, both fought one another, and that was that. And Dave was so unlucky not to get a podium. He definitely deserved it. But hey, next week, Maggiore Slipstream Fest in a mini.
You mean Yamagiwa?
Sorry, not Maggiore. Following on from Maggiore. I was actually supposed to say following on from Maggiore, not Maggiore. Missed two left words. But following on from that, it's going to be an absolute slipstream fest around Yamagiwa, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple of new names on that podium slot.
Yeah, I think we could see a fair few names on that podium slot. It's going to be that tight. But the interesting thing as well, obviously, speaking about social media as well, I know that the person who drove Bruce Lee Harding's liveried car, Steve Jensen, he actually posted a clip from the stream to his Instagram of a clip of the race. He was quite happy to see his 2019 livery car being raced in sim racing, which is
nice to see this 2021 coming up.
Yeah, well, it's interesting news on that. I'm potentially going to be getting the flat design for that car, so it would make it a bit easier for me to actually put the livery on the car, to be able to hopefully trace it or cut it down and apply it a lot easier than what it's currently looking like. But yeah, that's going to be a belter when it comes. But yeah, mini league, fantastic racing as expected.
I think all you need there, boys, is the Italian job music. You're pretty much sorted.
And a mini that's red, white and blue.
And that's a phrase we can't say for copyright reasons.
That's actually true. It's actually true, funnily enough. Other copyrighted phrases are available.
Yeah, as well as other films.
But aren't as good.
Debatable.
Yeah.
Which one though? The newer one or the old one?
Let's not go into that. We'll be there for an hour.
No, because I like both, but the classic always is the one for me.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Moving on from the minis, staying on the Monday trend, we go into the Ginetta GT4 League on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Again, run by Kevin, One Make Series. Jack, I believe you probably have some info. I'm hoping.
You're
anyway.
hoping I have some info.
I'm hoping, yeah.
Please do.
I do have some info. I'm just getting that loaded up now. Apologies, just took me a little.
We do appreciate all the hosts sending us some info of the races.
Yeah,
it does
I
make
do actually.
our lives a bit easier.
Well, the data loads.
Had a great first round with RV Motorsports taking the early championship lead. Seemed to do quite well. Loads of excellent feedback from all involved. Saw battling throughout the pack from start to finish. And apparently is probably the best league to enter if you're new to Assetto Corsa Competizione, and current DLC is available for that, and there's quite a lot of new drivers and a good level of skill between everyone. So if you're new to the game, Jordan, if you have time to do that, obviously, then that would be a good time for you to slot in, but obviously you're commentating with me. But anyone else who's listening, that sounds like a really good opportunity to jump in.
They were at Laguna Seca this week as well, weren't they?
I believe they were, yes.
They were in the wet. Which was quite interesting.
So that's going to be... So if you're new and you're not afraid of a bit of a rain dance, then jump in, because that's what happens in Assetto Corsa Competizione.
In the rain.
Yeah, I think it's going to get. I remember because I chat with the ACC hosts, and I said to them, "Oh look, I've sent them a picture of me downloading the game," and immediately Stu Packham was like, "You need to race in the Ginettas." I'm like, "I would, but I can't." I already committed to other things, but just having to see if I can find where they are to next. Because obviously they done Laguna Seca on Monday, just gone.
Yeah. They'll be heading to a circuit based on the planet Earth.
They are going for their first. They're going for their first endurance race, which I believe is an hour-long endurance at Suzuka. That's Suzuka.
That's a tough one for your first endurance. I reckon that'd be quite tough. Good track.
I've driven it in a Bentley, and it's quite good actually. It is quite good to drive. But
you've got to remember you've got 12 cylinders. You've got to remember you've got a fair bit of power, but the difference of endurance racing compared to say you're a quickish. For when I've done it, like. It sounds silly, but I had to have a bottle of water near me. So when I went in the pit, I think I'd have quite a bit of that. Bear in mind when we did the endurance races originally with NXTGEN, with the GT3s, like I think we were going through 2-3 years ago. It was during the summer, like 28 degrees. So it didn't really, help the fact you sat in a room with a PlayStation, like using pretty much half the oxygen in the room. So yeah,
it was quite tricky, I think. But looking at this season, obviously with the Assetto Corsa Competizione, that an hour endurance, that's going to be good. I'm curious to see how the ACC leagues get on. Might be something that piques my interest further down the line. Certainly is at the minute.
Yeah, well, especially right now when you can get the base game for, like I say, like 18 quid. It's for even if you get it and it takes you a little while to get used to it. For that price, it's well worth the punt. Otherwise, it's like 35 quid.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it, especially like you say, Jordan. It's on a Black Friday sale at the moment. It's going to be more potential savings, and there's more content being released for it. So we'll see how that league gets on. What's next, my friend?
Next up is going to be a PC league.
Is it RR?
He's race room experience, WTCR League, and I believe Lee has not sent you anything anyway. Not sent me anything.
Well, he probably has, but I probably wouldn't be able to explicitly say what it is. So I'll say that much. No, he hasn't said anything, unfortunately.
Okay, let me just have a look at the tables, and we'll try and update people.
That's 2 races in one night, 3 races in one night.
3 races in one night, yeah. They went to Brands Hatch Indy, Monday just gone. And yeah, yesterday. Ben Walker took the victory in race 1, followed by Fraser Rostance and William Foyle.
3 new race winners.
Well, 3. That's just the podium.
Okay.
Then race 2, Lee Horn actually won that race with with Ziria Gurunyan in second. And Ben Walker was in third. And race number 3, they had Arno Shannonay, who I have heard of before from iRacing. He won race 3 with Matthew Addy in second and Oguz Agan in third. So
with the top 16 reverse grid, or was it top 12? Can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it's different. I think it might be like possibly something like top 8 for race.
Top 8 for race 2, and I think
top
16.
Top 16, possibly top 12, something like that.
It's one of the 2 for race 3.
But also they have the ballast as well. They also have ballast on, which obviously makes a massive difference. I mean, I think it's only like 60 kilos, like, as is for like British touring cars, for the winner or the leader of the championship. But that makes such a big difference in cars that weigh very little.
It does have a really big difference. You're right, Jordan.
So sounds competitive. Going into round 3, they're going to Road America, and Ben Walker's going to be suffering the biggest brunt as he's leading the championship going in there. So he's going to have a very hard race 1, I think, around Road America.
Road America, yeah, definitely. Good track that, especially in those WTCR cars.
Moving on to tonight.
Well, before we talk about us, just a quick mention about the other league that was ongoing about tonight. Jordan, we'll cover that, won't we?
Yep, we'll be covering that'll be the Lamborghini Super Trofeo League on GT Sports, hosted by MRC Bob Bristow. This one, the only league on GT Sport this season that is a tuning league. You are allowed to tune the car. But yes, they had their first round tonight. Because obviously they got hit with the issues from last week. They were at Brands Hatch GP tonight, so obviously we'll cover that next week once we've got the information in. And then we go on to the final league to talk about for the night.
Dun, 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 dun.
As you can see, professionally dudded by
you can tell we've got a sound editing team. Tonight was an interesting one. I'll talk first for once because I know Mikey, you did last week in terms of F1. For me, I stuck it on pole, but things didn't go to plan during the race. I had a big wobble through turn 1, lap 2 as I was leading, spun off, and which repeated itself again later on in the race. That was just it, really. Just compromised my whole race after that. I didn't really make many other mistakes following on from it. Set fastest lap, but only good enough for 5th. But the championship's looking close. It's only the second round, so I'm not too worried. But I have to say, well done to a certain driver, but I'm not going to take his thunder. I'm not going to be the one to say it. I'll let his teammate speak for him.
Oh, I'm glad Matty's not here to talk about my amazing victory. No, I joke. Stellar performance, I'm not going to lie. Me and Matt didn't even think we'd get the top 3. It is quite a competitive league. And obviously, when we started seeing the times coming in, like both of us like, this isn't going to go to plan. Because we spent a bit of time yesterday practicing. I'm like, this could be alright. And then started seeing the times, like, this is not going to go well. But no, obviously Jack whacked out on pole. I got third. Obviously Jord fourth, Matty fifth. Obviously I bogged down, so straight away I didn't see. No, I did quite well, to be honest. I think Matty did brilliant drive.
That's a great launch.
But obviously I think, don't get me wrong, it was good in general, all the battling. I just think one of the best battles was literally me and Jord. Those last few laps, it comes to a point where literally we were second within each other. It was the only time we got DRS in the whole race. It was the lap before we went in, but it was so close. It's like I didn't know if to go in or just keep going. I just thought I'll play it safe because I don't know how we're going to play. Were you going to get in first? And obviously you going on the softer tyre. Can I build a buffer? Obviously I tried. I think I got about 10, 15 seconds. But obviously by the time I come out, you were 4 or 5 seconds up the road. There's no way I was catching you on me. But yeah, it was great, to be honest, to be able to at least have a fight and that you stand some sort of a chance, which is actually quite nice for once. But then obviously at the same time, I do feel pretty gutted for yourself, Jack, with your 15-second penalty. So.
I think to be honest with you, I mean, at that side, I think it's quite good to see that we've got another race winner this season, because
the Alpha boys, we're giving you McLaren boys a run for your money.
Even as a good run with teamdicom.com and BTR, yeah. So
it's
I think
the simpletons get it right.
No, that's our team. You're the simpletons.
That's what I'm saying. We're the simpletons giving you a run for your money.
But I think it's quite. I think it is really good to see. I'm trying to think when Matty, otherwise known as Lionel Griesby, won a race in NXTGEN, because I'm certain he did.
Last season.
No,
he come close a few times in the F1.
I'm trying to think if he's ever won a race. A few podiums.
I don't think he has, you know.
No, I think that might be his first.
I've won more than Matty.
Yeah, I know you. I don't think he is.
No, it's maiden victory.
Yeah.
Well,
don't tell him; he'll brag about it for weeks.
He's probably listed right now, mate. To be honest, yeah, I'm not.
I think the one good thing with Silverstone is that over the years there's been quite a big disparity between controller and wheel, depending on what circuits. And I know for a long time that there were certain tracks where the controller was quite ahead of the wheel. Now this was for many years, not this season fortunately. The game's sort of quite well balanced now. And I said to you, Jordan, didn't I, during practice, I said Matty's quick on pace. I could just tell, because I saw a couple of his laps whilst I was just jumping in and out of pits, and I thought he looked solid. There was nothing he was doing wrong.
But some of the setups me and Matt were trying yesterday, you wouldn't believe it, because I was faster than Matty. It literally was like your typical race if me and you went against each other, or obviously me, you and Matt. When we used to race, it would be like I'd get one lap, be buzzing about it, and then you used to. All you'd ever see is Ryan agrees with you, Jack, and in the end, it just every lap it'd be someone else's name. It was just like, oh great, this is fun. But it was nice to see that. Obviously, typical Matt Morris attitude. The minute he hit second place, sweat mode was activated. I can confirm. So he even said it himself, sweat mode activate, and then didn't say a single word for literally about 10 minutes, and then started screaming. So I made up for it.
It was good from Matty. And,
what about you, George?
Me, well, as we know, there was a slight disparity in the lobby settings, as we found out.
Yes, there was a problem with the lobby, but we'll sort that out next week.
Yeah. So it kind of dampened my confidence a little bit, but got there, managed to qualify 4th on the medium tyre, which I was very, as you know, Jack, I was quite happy with that.
Yeah,
Top medium qualifier. Got off the line. Matty got an absolute rocket ship of a start. I mean, I know he was on the soft tyre compared to me, but it was an absolute lightning start. But it was quite funny because I managed to overtake an Alfa Romeo and then got overtaken by one at the same time. It was a bit like, that's a bit annoying. Problem is, I was saying see you to you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you now, I've actually recorded on here that my ERS was stuck on all race, and I couldn't turn it off.
It was interesting because we got off the start line and got through the first few corners, and all of a sudden I looked behind me and I saw you were catching me. I was like, he's using a lot of ERS here. I don't know whether this is a tactic to try and get in front of me and hold me up a little bit. So I started deploying a little ERS myself as I was coming out on like Brooklands and that. And
like those sectors, it's like because that first like sector into the second sector, I was catching you gradually, and then you just get to the long straight, and you just like become a little bit in the distance. As okay, bye.
But it was interesting because obviously I kind of got gap up to about 2 seconds, and I was there happily managing it. And then all of a sudden, like the front tyres started to lose grip. They were only about 27% as well. They weren't, in my mind, they weren't actually that worn. But obviously the conditions, it being a bit cloudy, I was coming through like Maggers and Beckett's, and I was a bit like, oh, this is feeling like it's going to twitch and go away. And the lap I came in, I actually came in a lap earlier than I was scheduled for, because I was looking at the gap between to you, Mike. I was like, right, he's on me now. That's it. I need to get in, get the fresh tyres on, because I knew as soon as I pitted, I'd have the advantage over you because I'd have the soft compound.
I guess that though, to be fair, because like as I was catching you, you were doing like little mistakes, which I
the car
find quite rare for you.
The car
just
wouldn't
skipping a bit.
Yeah, the car was like understeering a little bit, and then all of a sudden it would just sort of start tweaking the back end. I'm just like, this is horrible. I need to get a new set of boots. I was a bit like Hamilton going, Bono, my tyres are done, but actually my tyres were actually done. I wasn't still saying fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. So yeah, I came in, got the tyres, and I was like, as soon as I saw you go past and carry on, I was like, I've definitely got him. Because I knew that as soon as I came out on the softs, I'd have so much more grip, because you were on those softs for 9 laps, and they were
but
wrecked.
I think I pushed me luck with them, to be fair, because obviously I was going to go in lap 7 or 8, and obviously Matty's got in, obviously with Matty leading. Like the way me and Matt do it is, whoever's leading, the class is driver 1, so we put them as like the priority. You know, I'd imagine that's something that you yourselves do.
I think you and Matt would have had a big enough gap though to double stack, because
I'd rather not chance it though, mate. I've done it before.
It was like 10
Funny
seconds.
With Jack as my teammate, I think we did it once. It was like a one-off sort of joke race or whatever, and we were actually doing really good. And obviously we've stacked up, and it took forever for my pit stop to do. And then obviously she stopped us from getting a really good result. But it's just I don't like double stacking. I'd rather say, bear in mind, Matthew's like 20 seconds up the road for us. No, I wouldn't say that far actually. Well, 5-10 seconds up the road with Carl, and then there's me and you. Obviously they've gone in, and I've seen you kept going. I'm like, right, I'm not chancing this. So obviously I've tried to keep up with you. You've gone in, and I thought, well, if I build this buffer, if I've got like 10-15 seconds, that gives me enough time to get in, out, and then I can at least try and keep some sort of pace. Yeah. So by the time I come out, it was like 4 seconds. I was like, yeah, I'm not catching it.
Well, it's pretty much the reason I knew. I was like, as I came in the pits, I was like, if you don't come in now, I'm going to have a decent gap coming out, because the undercut on F1, and it's especially when you're going to the soft compound as well, the undercut is massively advantageous. I think there's only one place that I've done an overcut, and that was at Interlagos last season, when I managed to get myself into the lead in front of him, of Carl, because I overcut him by a lap. But yeah, you tend to find the undercut's quite powerful. So I was like, as soon as you went past, I was like, yeah, that's it. I've got him, because of the way, because you could tell through, like, I was quicker than you through the second sector, just purely because the advantage of the wheel compared to the controller, especially through Maggots and Beckett's, where I know for a fact on the controller the weight transition on the car is really, really lazy.
Yeah, obviously going down that straight and then coming to the right, I was having to take it front. I literally changed to 8, back down to 7, like obviously let it roll down to 7, let it roll round, and then trying to put the power down. But I just couldn't keep the pace. But obviously, like you said, if I had the wheel, it would have been a little bit closer. I don't think it would have changed the result, but it would have been a closer sort of match.
You'd have probably been on the back of me more coming out of Beckett's, just having that stability.
That's what I would have wanted, to be fair.
But
to be fair, I don't know how you survived being able to put pace on me still when you were on the mediums and I was on the soft. I physically couldn't understand. I was saying to myself, how is he keeping this pace? Because I'd take a bit out of it and then come back out. It was just, there was never any constant work. It was only in those last 2-3 laps that I started gaining little bits off you. Obviously, once your tyres had gone. But my tyres were fine. I could have kept going on them.
It was quite interesting, actually, from my perspective. I found that the medium was a better tyre by some margin than the soft. I thought the soft was really unstable.
They're pacing it.
As soon as I got onto the mediums, like you saw, I got into the fastest lap.
Mate, you were ridiculous. You were fire.
I know, and that's as soon as I put that on and went onto that compound, I started flying. I survived let's say a scare when me and Alex banged wheels down the back straight on hanger. I got such a good run out of the final part of Maggots and Beckett's. As we were coming down the straight, I was already halfway alongside them as we went across the DRS line, and we just banged wheels, and I thought I was going to go off. But yeah, the championship's close. 37 points for me and Matty. Carl's on 36.
What I will say as well is that after that race, I'm still very much happy, because in the races that the games allowed me to actually race, I've got a 100% podium record at the moment in this league.
See you at turn 1 at Monza.
Well, you're my teammate, so you better not.
Oh no, he's going to be behind me watching me go through you.
That's a really horrible thing to think about.
Be sitting on the top of my wing, mate.
I think Monza's going to be another one of those races where anyone could win that. I think there's 6 of us in the lobby who definitely could make some
I feel like the person who's going to win Monza is the person who's going to have the least amount of wing on the car, and that's still controllable everywhere.
I'll tell you who wins, boys. The guy who goes the fastest.
Well, actually, not necessarily.
That was sarcasm, to be quite honest with you. No, but that was a major sense of humour failure right there. But yeah,
and if anyone does have F1 2020, come sign up. It's a really good league, and I think that I'd say it's been better this season than it was last season. We've got more drivers, and we've got people registering their interest. Just going to say as well, it's Black Friday this week, so have a quick.
To be fair, we didn't have that many races, did we, last season? Because it was all of a feeler.
It was a mini league, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously, it was actually quite good. To be fair, I joined quite late, so I got Brazil, Monaco, and
Abu Dhabi,
yeah. And to be fair, bear in mind, I'm not as good as you two. I'll just throw that on the table now. I was actually quite surprised of how I actually got on. To be honest, I was quite pleased with myself, quite proud. So
it's got a quite nice range of skill levels, so you're always going to end up in a battle.
yeah, well that's actually quite good as well. To be fair, Bill, like you said, it's sort of even Stevens for everyone in it really. It's more or less who can get the edge on who.
Yeah.
So
So that's it for the leagues, isn't it? I believe that's where we're at with everything. We've just ticked over to 11 o'clock. What I wanted to say actually, just whilst Mikey and Jordan are having a good chat there, for anyone who's listening, I've been able to just source a couple of prices because it's Black Friday. I just thought I'd have a quick scan round. You can pick up GT Sport if you're interested, £10 at the moment in a good
That's a
number of
bargain, that
places.
is.
Really cheap, absolutely great game to play. So £10, and that's for a few different stores. Assetto Corsa Competizione on PS4. You can look anywhere between £17 to £22, which isn't too bad to be honest with you. F1 2020 on PS4. Looking at the moment, you can pick it up from Asda. Funnily enough, for 28 is the cheapest I'm seeing it. But to be honest with you, that's for the 70 edition. If you want the Schumacher one, in some places you can pick it up for anywhere between 18 to £27. So not bad for a game that's only been out for a few months. So
I'd also urge people to maybe look on the PS Store as well, because
I purchased mine on the PS4. It was £50. Well, about 3-4 months ago.
this is a while ago. Yeah, it was brand new, wasn't it? So Black Friday, 3 days away. You know, we're looking at it. What date are we on today, gentlemen? We're on the 24th.
Tuesday, 24th of November, 2020.
I know for a fact the prices on the PS Store last till the 30th of November.
Yeah. So you can have a look on PlayStation Store too. Depends if you want physical or digital, of course. But physical for GT Sport, £10. You're not going to get it cheaper anywhere else.
No, it's a hell of a price, that is.
Yeah, you can't really complain with that, mate.
You cannot complain. So I think that's it, gents, isn't it, for tonight?
I
Yeah.
think it is, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's another solid podcast from the gents here, and you know we will be back again next week at, well, we're hoping somewhere between 9 and half 9, depending on any further issues with the F1 League. No, I'm joking. I'm only joking. Honestly, sometimes we do have a few setup hiccups, and it happens, and that's what we're here to do, to help everyone. So we'll be back next Tuesday, somewhere between 9, half 9 for the live stream. But for the time being, it's goodbye from Mikey.
Goodbye.
Bye from Jordan.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me, wherever you might be in the big wide world. Have a good one and stay safe.